So DoorDash Storefront is basically the merchant putting the delivery and pickup button on their website, which goes to the DoorDash system, versus the person going to DoorDash and ordering from the restaurant on DoorDash. So the difference is they're basically taking their website and making it an entry channel for DoorDash. That's how the storefronts work. It's just basically like adding a button to a website is really all it is. But they give preferred pricing to the restaurant when they do that. So it is a bit of competition for you. And it looks like this. I just found a restaurant that they say works for them. This is Peri Peri, Port of Peri Peri in East Rutherford, New Jersey, home of the Super Bowl champion New York Jets. So basically, you go to their website. So I'll click on the website for them. It's actually not, but anyway. So then you see the button pop up. So order pickup, order delivery. You click it, whichever one you wish, and then it just goes into. This is DoorDash. They pick a location for it. I picked this one. And then it just basically goes into DoorDash for that particular vendor, so, or particular restaurant. So basically, it's just another a channel, an access point. Doesn't have any of the branding for the restaurant outside of the logo and food pictures inside the menu. So how does that work? Because what basically happens here is the commission fees that come through DoorDash are minimized, and the commission fees for the consumer go up. So for pickup and delivery, what they're offering is 0% commission for pickup or delivery if it comes in through this channel. I would caveat that with, I've not seen DoorDash statements where it comes in from this channel, so I don't know how a restaurant would actually track that, but that's what they say. And then when you go into the cart, what you'll notice is for the particular restaurant is that the delivery fee is no longer $1.99, $2.99. It goes up $3.99, $4.99, $5.99. So it gets a lot closer to Foodie. And then you'll see on the fees, there's a 10% service fee that goes on top of it to the consumer. Okay, so when you look at the fees for orders that are $30 or higher, it's actually a little bit more expensive than what we would offer through our delivery service. That's how they're doing it, which is good because what it's doing is it's showing the customer the true fees of what the delivery costs, because they're not being absorbed by the restaurant. And if I was to order this directly through DoorDash, the delivery fee would go down to $1.99, and this fee would probably stay at 10% for it, but the restaurant's getting charged as well. When you go into the account for the particular restaurant, this is an account, 3-location account for DoorDash out here, Don Quixote's. This is actually the last week's statement, so I thought I'd show that. So about $6,000, just over $6,000 in orders, just over $1,300 in fees. And notice that there's the error charges. These are orders that are refunds that go to the customer for restaurant problems. They're always there. People don't see them, but these are akin to what we would see with chargebacks and whatnot. These are failed deliveries for DoorDash. Okay.
That's DoorDash statement that we're looking at, Randy?
This is DoorDash. This is the actual DoorDash portal for a customer, yeah.
Okay.
I'll make it bigger. So 6,200, 1,000, 12, about $1,400 in fees. The staff tips are interesting because they go on only pickup orders. So what DoorDash is saying is if you order a pickup order through the system, we will we'll give the tips to the staff. Well, you should give the tips to the staff. We do exactly the same thing. And note that it's really not that much. So on $4,461 in orders, the staff tips were $6.25, which is, that's a percentage we should calculate. 6.25 divided by 4461.74 That is a 0.14% tip to the staff on the order volume. So it's really nothing. Right? So if your restaurant's saying, well, DoorDash gives us the tips, well, they do on pickup orders, which is usually 1 order, 2 orders out of the entire time. This is a week, by the way. This is only a week of processing. This is not a month. So take that 1,400, multiply it by 4, you're at about $6,000 in costs. So anyway, so Storefront exists inside their portal. They see add Storefront here. Okay, so basically what they're saying is put an order now button on the website, just like we would. And there's their fees. So there is no commission. So they're waiving the commission on delivery and pickup. But the customers are now getting pulled into DoorDash. So for DoorDash, this is kind of a lost leader to acquire customers for their own platform, because you no longer have that customer. For our system, right, you get all the customer data that you can then utilize. Here you get nothing, because as soon as I click that button on my example for Peri Peri, as soon as I click that button and come into here on their website, I'm a DoorDash customer now. I'm signing into DoorDash, creating a DoorDash account if I don't have one, and then having all their marketing sent at me, which is going to promote for them to come directly through the DoorDash portal versus the website portal. That's the game they're playing. Acquire customers as much as possible. Why are they doing that? Well, because they don't make any money. Just last week, they reported that their revenue was less than their marketing spend. They lost money again. So that's what's happened to these platforms. They're just marketing to grow customers, to grow stock price for their investors. That's all they're trying to do. Not for profit. But they are charging 2.9 plus 30 cents for the payment processing fee. So in our model, you are saving that. So on my example of $6,000 in orders, the processing fee on that would be about 220 to 240 bucks that the restaurant would pay. So we are saving them that over this model. So if you look at the value proposition for Snaptown, right? If I go back to, do I have a presentation here? Yes, I do. Right? So the 0 commissions and all the money direct. So in this model, there are also 0 commissions if they come in through that portal. And the question is, will they come in the second time through that portal or go directly through DoorDash? DoorDash is banking on them going directly to DoorDash. They don't get all the money direct like they do with us. They have to go through the process of getting it weekly. They are paying the credit card fees. They do not get any customer data. They don't get any integrated loyalty program. And the DoorDash does nothing to optimize anything to work for the business. So basically, they're tackling bullet point number 1 with that model. Why are they doing it? Well, they already have the menu loaded on the system. So providing another access point to that menu is not a huge cost to them. Similar to Slice, right? Put the button on the site and we'll decrease your commission. That's kind of how the model works. All they're doing is using it as a customer acquisition mechanism so that they can market directly to that customer. Any questions? There's Paul.
Hey, Randy, it's Paul.
Paul's on.
I got on a little late. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Was that the DoorDash storefront?
It was all for you, man. Yep, this was all
I
you.
know. I was trying to get in the car. Customers keep you know, but okay. So that was the storefront.
That's Storefront, yeah.
Okay.
So basically,
yeah, I never saw that before.
Just to recap, so what the third parties are doing is basically having the businesses promote pickup and delivery on their website as an entry point into the DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats portal. That's what they're doing. And they are relinquishing some of the commissions in order to do that, to acquire the customer, because they're becoming a DoorDash customer at that point. They will lose that customer to the broader DoorDash platform. That's the cost. And the fees, some of the fees are being pushed onto the customer, and the delivery fee is definitely higher than it would have been if they went directly to DoorDash. So what they'll say is, thank you for ordering. Paul Eberly, thank you for ordering. You're a new customer. Guess what? You get DoorDash perks if you order directly through DoorDash and you save on the delivery fee. It'll become 0. You're like, yeah, that's great. I'll order from there. Well, then that next order is a 30% charge to the business. right? So they're going to make money on order 2 plus. That's what they're banking on.
I knew there was a catch to it.
Well,
Okay, that's what I
there's
needed
always
to
a
know.
catch, right? There's always a catch.
There's always a catch.
There always is, yeah.
Okay.
That's the reason.
Thank you.
There is a benefit over the traditional DoorDash entry point, but what you have to understand is that their marketing spend is enormous to get people to order direct. So the predominant number of orders are going to go through the direct platform. I wish I had a customer that gave me access to their portal that had Storefront running, so I could look at what are the orders that come in through Storefront versus traditional DoorDash. I don't have one, so I have to go with, I have to go with what I've got, which is, half the story. I do have a DoorDash customer, which is this one here.
Okay.
Did you say DoorDash is losing money?
100%.
Explain why.
Because what they do is they spend all of their revenue is spent on marketing.
Oh.
That's why. There's a good piece on one of the financial networks last week. It was DoorDash and DraftKings, and they talked about this is basically it was an investor panel. It was a judge. It was a power lunch or whatever. So what they were talking about was you have these businesses, that is, so DraftKings, you all know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Where you can gamble and make money and whatnot. If they were to quadruple their revenue and take their marketing to 10% of what it is now. Right now, marketing spend up for them as well as higher than their actual revenue, right? They were to quadruple their revenue, and they still wouldn't justify their multiples on financially, because they're just spending so much money to acquire new customers. It's all about new customer acquisition, right? That's the model. Increase revenue, not profit. Increase revenue and increase number of customers, and then that's what the investing community wants from them, right? But they said this: if you have the perfect environment for your business, right? The perfect environment to grow your customers and get them interacting with your platform. For DraftKings, we had COVID. Everybody's stuck inside. They can't go to sports games. They're betting on sports games from home. They have nothing else to do. We go through a pandemic, and these delivery companies, right, are in a situation where everybody has to order delivery from restaurants. The perfect storm, right? And you still can't make money. So if you can't make money when conditions are the best, when can you? It's a very interesting argument, right? If you're, you know what I mean? It's just saying, if we were to grow, we're growing so fast, like Snaptown and Lego Business Group, we're growing so fast, bringing all these customers in, but we're not making any money. Well, then the business model's flawed. It has to be. How's that possible? Right? The perfect environment. So take that as an input.
So what do you see as the outcome of it? Your thoughts?
Outcome of what? Of this?
DoorDash.
Restaurants go out of business. I think DoorDash will go away. It'll morph into something else.
Or be acquired.
It'll morph into something else. I don't think it'd be acquired. It's too big. I think it'll acquire. It's what it's doing, right? They're all acquiring each other so they can get operational savings, and hopefully eke out a profit. That's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're charging 30% to a restaurant, right, of an order price, 10 to 15% to the customer, plus a delivery fee, and you can't make profit. So what are you going to do? Charge the business 50% and the customer 25%? No, the model's going to break down. It has to break down. It becomes too unaffordable. And the way they do it is they use their fees to basically trick people into thinking that it's a good thing. Payday loans, right? Look, I'm getting all this money. Yeah, you are, but you're only getting 40% of what you should, which is not enough. With food costs going up, I was speaking to a restaurant yesterday. He had said that his food costs now are 45% of revenue, because everything's going up, everything's doubling and tripling. It's probably happened to you guys too, right? Prices are going up.
Chicken wings.
We're changing menu prices like every month for restaurants, because the prices are going up like to ridiculous amounts. Pizza boxes went from $10 for 50 pizza boxes to $48, the same pizza box, right? 4x on boxes, right? Produce has gone up. proteins have gone up. So all that stuff's going up, and labor's going up. So in California, the minimum wage goes up by another $2 January 1st per employee, right? So that's going up. So food costs are going up, labor costs are going up. How does a restaurant get profit? By bringing in a third party that takes 30% of revenue? I don't think so. If 45% is food costs and 30% is taken out by DoorDash, that leaves you 25% to pay all of your fixed costs and your employees, which is a huge cost to restaurants. It just doesn't work. It's broken. And they find out it's broken when their bank account empties and they shut their doors.
Point of proof in another place I went to right before the pandemic, little breakfast place. Nice guy in a sense, but he was very hard-headed, thought our system was broken. It wouldn't make him any money. I went to go by there yesterday. He's out of business. I'm like, wish I could talk to you personally and tell you the stupid decisions you make.
Yeah, that'd be just wasting your breath. So anyway,
there's a couple I won't go back to because.
So I think it's all about, trying to make that, have them take that leap, right? Have them, and all of you, I think, on this call have at least one restaurant that's blowing it up with the platform that's doing it the right way. And you can easily state to them what the savings are, the additional profit they're making on those orders versus taking the other alternative mechanism. So, I think it's just, trying to get them past this allure of it's not costing me anything. So what's the problem with that? If I only pay when the orders come in, then everything's great. I'm going to increase prices on the third party. Okay, that solves one end of the problem, which is you might not have to pay as much, but then you're putting yourself out of, as your food costs go up, you have to increase those prices again. Are people going to pay $25 for a burrito? Probably not. So, but that's how these models work. So it is a challenge for you guys, no question, right? You kind of lose the big easy close here, which is the delivery, which is the commission fees, right? That's what you're missing. But again, what all that's doing is kind of leveling the playing field with the third party and our platform, meaning the consumer sees what the true cost of delivery is, right? That's what they're saying. And as orders, our average order is, I think, $44, $42. On a $42 order, the fees are pretty much in line with DoorDash versus what we would charge, from Storefront, not from DoorDash itself. Question the business has asked themselves is what happens on order number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because on those orders, they're going to probably come directly through the DoorDash platform because they'll get perks and whatnot from them, and then the restaurant pays the 30% from that point onward. So they're kind of giving up their customers.
Randy, do you think the customer has access to any type of record to know whether the second or third or fourth order comes through DoorDash or through the storefront, or is that going to just be muffled up so they can't figure that out?
Well, they can't, right? They they get no customer data, right? All they get is Bob, Paul.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. They don't get any data. So trying to make the connection of what our storefront versus not storefront, I don't know how they're gonna do that. I wouldn't even trust the fact that the storefront is accurate. Why would I trust that information? You guys are already, reporting information kind of incorrectly, right? You're telling me summaries of things and fees and error charges that are coming out. I don't know if they're real or not. How would I?
Yeah, Google lies on their numbers too. Like it's a lot of misinformation. Like my store's closed, and I got an email today that said your store directions were Googled 55 times last month. For what? A closed store? You're lying.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to drive the traffic through them. I'm like, yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah. So that's the thing is it becomes now you're kind of trusting that brand that they're doing the right thing. And some restaurants will say they do, right? They bought into the payday loans. You should probably sell them a payday loan. Make your money that way.
Well, they do.
and then they just
I
get
met with a
you.
company yesterday, and they said, they're like, we make so much money off of DoorDash, and I'm like, how much do you lose to them? And he goes, we figure we lose about $65,000 a year to them.
Or
And I said,
pay to them.
yeah, and I said, can you imagine what you could do with that 65? He goes, yeah, exactly. He goes, we could definitely do that. He goes, but we're terrified to step away from them. And I said, so bring us on board, and let them just erode
Well, yeah.
away.
Well, and I think that's the model, right? Saying you're going to replace them, I think, is a very high mountain to climb to get over that. To
Right.
say, yeah, we trust you. We trust you. Guy that walked in off the street, that you're going to beat this big brand. Got it. So you start running them in parallel, right? And you know what the model is, right? You know that if you bring in more than $1,000 in orders, your system is basically free, right? From a DoorDash or a
Right.
Grubhub, right? $200 to $300 off every 1,000. We start to bring in 2,000 and 3,000 and 4,000 and 5,000. These are significant savings. You should never lose that customer, even if they keep the third parties running. You should look at mechanisms to try to drive more business through subsidizing delivery, as an example, or offering a discount off an order to try to pull more of those customers back. It's a game. Marketing is a game, right?
Mhm.
It's a game where you're trying to get mind share. You're trying to get people to understand that, okay, it's better for me to order from this restaurant versus someone else. So
The biggest challenge is stopping the customers from allowing the third parties to take over the Google business listing.
well, Zach's got his mechanism works.
What is it?
He just calls Google and says, take these third parties off my listing, and eventually they do.
Really?
It's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
What's the Google phone number?
That's why it's a lot of work, because there isn't one. It's all through support emails, but it works for him.
It's basically just monitoring email chains and then just constantly responding and just basically forcing Google's hand. I just keep responding and keep jumping hoops, and then they remove the links.
And then what happens? Does anybody come back at it then?
No, I mean, the only way the links would reappear is if they partnered with a delivery company again, or if they manually added in the links.
You mean the customer?
Right. Yeah.
The restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will reiterate, it is hilarious how I have some owners who are so thankful that I get the links removed, and then I'll get a call from someone and they'll be like, why aren't all the links showing up on my Google listing? You're making me lose orders. So it's just, some people get it, some people don't,
Yeah.
Right. You got to keep in mind who your customer is, right? Your restaurant customer. They're in the service industry. They make food for people. They're not. Most of them aren't, math majors. Not a bad thing. It's just a reality, right? So I'd love to look at these things. I should run a discount, run discounts for larger orders. It's just crazy when you think about it, right? So I'm going to incentivize people to order a bigger order. You're still going to charge me 30% on it, but it's on a higher ticket. So it's worse. So it's hundreds of dollars per order versus, per day. It's crazy what they're doing. It really is. But with back to the initial thing, the storefront, most of the third parties are doing that now. It's their mechanism to try to drive more customers to them, because now the customer, even though they're thinking they're ordering from the restaurant or not, they're ordering from DoorDash and creating an account. Cool. Any other questions, topics?